No, 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 it's too soon for this. If Aiden gets serious, this is over. He's going to ruin everything. It's funny because I was just thinking the same thing. If Aiden were to get serious now and use the same amount of magical power that he displayed against Tyrat's magma form in the Thelius arena, this fight will end in a flash. Our only chance is to de-escalate the conflict somehow, or to beat him while he's still messing around, not unleashing his full power. Yeah, there's no point in fighting him. To be honest, I'm still having some trouble accepting the reality in front of me after having avoided a conflict with Aiden for so long. It was beginning to seem almost impossible that we would ever be put in such a situation again. I honestly thought that we might even be able to reach the end of the tournament without having to fight him at all. But maybe it's not too late. Maybe there are still some words I can say to him which will make him change his mind. I've done it before. I can do it again, right? I just need to find the right words. I guess I'll save first, because this feels like it's gonna end soon. Considering how troubled Araka is by all this, yeah, it's even more confirmed. Now let's try to de-escalate the conflict. Hayden, I was thinking, I say as he and Darren are still fighting, what if we ask Diane to do an enchanter's oath so that she never tells Meredith or any of the Lasethi any information that we revealed about you during this trip? That could work, right? An enchanter's oath, you say, Aiden tells me while he's still evading Darren's sword attacks. Yeah, wouldn't that solve all your problems, I tell him, as I feel myself getting a little nervous, and then we could put all this conflict behind us if we continue to interact like we always do. All of a sudden, Aiden disappears from where he was, and he reappears right in front of me, staring at me with his closed eyes, but with the smile gone from his face. You disappoint me, Barry, Aiden says. Friends immediately understood that this time there was no room for negotiation, so they decided to take the most logical course of action and bet their lives on the very small chance that they might defeat me. In the meantime, what are you doing? Trying to cling to the hope that I might spare you again for my own amusement? Thinking that your empty declaration to save off all of Orathia cities will somehow guarantee that I'd never kill you under any circumstances? What was the point of dedicating your entire life to becoming a mage if you're not even willing to use your magic to save you in such a dire moment? Tell me, Barry, were you in fact just a coward this whole time? My instincts are immediately tell me that this is not like any of the other times when I've faced Aiden before. This time he's actually planning to kill me for real. I need to get away from here quick. I do not wait for Aiden to make a move. I use my air currents to propel myself into the air as I point my palms towards him from above in an attempt to shoot him with one of my spells. As soon as I look towards Aiden, however, I realize he's already gone. I frantically begin to look around me in every direction to figure out where he is teleported, where he is, above, below, behind, where. He's invisible, you moron, Araka shouts at me, behind you. I do not get the time to turn around because I can feel a hard hand grabbing my head from behind. The next thing I know is that my head explodes in 1,000 pieces, killing me in an instant. Well, I guess that didn't work, so I guess we'll try to find a way to defeat Aiden before he unleashes his full power. There's no point in trying to de-escalate now. Aiden has clearly made up his mind about killing Diane. He is not going to take no for an answer. The only way to get out of the situation alive is to beat him, but how? Well, I'm trying to think of a plan of action. I see Darren swing his sword again, but this time Aiden blocks it with only his index finger. Ha, Darren says. You know, these tricks used to be a lot more shocking when I didn't know about auras. All you're doing right now is focusing all of your aura hardening ability on a single point in order to make it much stronger than normal, aren't you? But then all I need to do in that case is simply to spin my blade like this, and then less than a second after Darren starts to spin his blade, Aiden teleports away from me in the blink of an eye, reappears about 10 feet behind their original position. See, Darren says, there we go. Of course, you wouldn't want me to actually stab you with the sword, because then you'd risk me cutting your connection to the magical plane. It's not so easy pretending to be all powerful when people can understand what you're doing, is it? The sword of yours is admittedly becoming a bit of a nuisance, Aiden says, as he now extends his arm toward Darren and does a pulling motion. By all means, take my sword, Darren says as he lets go of his weapon and lets it fly toward Aiden. As the sword is approaching it begins to accelerate and spin very rapidly like a rotor blade. This forces Aiden to teleport out of the way again, but the blade just keeps following him every time it disappears and reappears. What's the matter, Darren says as he is moving the hand to change the direction of his blade. Don't want my sword anymore? Seeing that teleporting is not working, Aiden decides to blast the flying magic with flying weapon away with an air magic. But the spinning sword just absorbs the air element, sends it back at him by itself. As soon as the spinning rotor blade reaches its target again, it teleports away once more, but this time he attempts to fly out of the way instead of disappearing. That's an illusion, you idiot, Araka says. The real Aiden is invisible behind you. A mere fraction of a second after Araka says that, Araka instantly dashes behind Darren from the side. He punches the empty air in front of him, making Aiden become visible again as he gets thrown into one of the trees on the side of the road. You're helping them now, Araka, Aiden says, while he gets back on his feet and dusts him off. That's not very fair, is it? That's not really very fair, is it? Shut your filthy mouth, you waste of human life, Araka shouts angrily. Don't you understand that all of my plans are going to be ruined because of you? Because of you. Honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about, Aiden says it. Hardrick rushes towards him again and punches him through the tree. Okay, I need to analyze the situation calmly and come up with a solution. Right now, Darren and Hardrick are the only ones actively fighting Aiden. It's clearly clear so far that he has only been toying with them, even without releasing his full power. He should be capable of much more than what he's shown so far. This means if we catch him by surprise in his current state, we still have a chance to turn things around. As it stands, we already have a plan prepared for neutralizing the Araka from the past, which is supposed to be more powerful than Aiden's strongest form. However, in order for our plan to work, Aiden would need to stand in place for a few seconds and also be distracted enough to not attempt to block Kate's ice beam. Let me think, is there a way in which I could get Aiden to stand in place? The Wolfram's eye thing, the fake Wolford's eyes, whatever it's called, the illusion technique, the disorientation technique, the fake version of it. Let me think, is there a way in which I could get Aiden to stand in place and not pay attention to what Kate is doing? But there is a way. I actually have a perfect spell I need. I've been practicing them multiple times, but I'm still going to need him to be considerably weakened because I cast these spells if I want them to have the best effect on him. And for that, I'm going to need some help. Flower Illuna, I say, we need to put more pressure on Aiden. Can I count on you? I trust that you've come up with a plan of sort, Illuna asks me. I have, but I'd rather not talk about it out loud, because I'm not sure how much Aiden has enhanced his hearing ability, I say. Understood, Illuna says. In that case, whenever you're ready. I nod at her, then I turn to Kate, who is still standing near unconscious Diane in order to be ready to defend her from harm. Kate, I say, do you remember our plan to take down Araka from the past? I remember it, yes. Kate answers me. Good, I say. Then I'm going to need you to save up your energy as much as possible and not to do anything until I set up the perfect opportunity for you. You'll know it happens when it happens. Well, okay, I'll be waiting then, Kate says. Go all out. Requires strength max strength, speed, reflexes, and aura hardening. I have max strength, I have max speed, I have max reflexes. I had just 0 in toughness and 0 in aura hardening. No, not 0 in aura hardening. Yeah, 2 in aura hardening. That's not gonna cut it. I have 1 point available actually. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it either, but still, I'll just put that in. Yeah, this is gonna look super cool, and we'll do this when we are doing the perfect playthrough. But holy shit, I'm waiting for it. This is going to be cool as hell. I'm gonna make a mental note to make sure to come back here. Even though in the perfect playthrough, I will obviously not tell what's his face, Meredith, about the Aiden detecting them, but okay. I think that was an option to not tell her. Offer support to Flower and Luna, but try to keep a distance from Aiden. Attack Aiden together with Flower and Luna. He'll probably detect that we are doing something if we keep our distance. Since the whole talk of cowardice came about, so I'm guessing we should attack together with a... Well, what are we gonna attack with though? Most of the time we attack with like... Yeah, we should attack with a crossbow. Now, but there's a whole talk of cowardice. I feel like that will kill us. So let's attack together with a Flower and Aiden. Let's go, I tell Luna, and then Flower. And then Flower jumps into the air, activating her fire jets while I use my air currents to fly towards the battlefield as well. Thankfully, my currents have been working well, even with just 1 level in my magical stats, due to the knowledge that I managed to extract from the Magium. This means that at least I will be able to focus on my fight without having to worry about my flight spell malfunctionality randomly at a critical moment. It looks like in the short time I haven't been paying attention to them, Hardrick and Darren have made a complete mess of this place. Half of the trees on the side of the road have been either been smashed by Hardrick or cut down by Darren's swords, and they're still going at it, but Aiden seems to have gotten a little better at dodging their attacks, despite barely using any of the stronger spells. It's a good thing that Hardrick is sober. When Flower gets closer, Luna conjures a few water lances out of thin air. She launches them at Aiden, who moves his right hand slightly, evaporates the opportunity projectiles with a large column of fire. Are we adding new combatants? Aiden says while raising an eyebrow. Maybe it's time for me to start using 15% of my power then. 15%? You smart mouth little. The whole area around Aiden suddenly gets covered in fire as Darren uses his shield to defend himself and Hardrick, while Luna creates a large pillar of water in front of us to slow down the flames while we fly away. Let's attack him together, I tell Luna and Flower. I'll try to keep him busy with my spells as much as possible.